All right, so for our first lesson in this module, we have an introduction to inequality notation. We have 3 goals to have by the end of this lesson. We want to be able to say I understand what an inequality is, I understand the symbols of inequalities, and I can translate key phrases into inequalities. So let's go ahead and get started. First off, some vocabulary. We have, first off, an inequality is a math statement that compares 2 expressions using a relation symbol that one value is larger than, smaller than, or equal to another value. And then we have solution set. Our solution set are all the values, the variable that makes the inequality true. So usually you'll see something like x is greater than 4. And so your solution set would be any number bigger than 4. And so this is an inequality. You've kind of seen them in the past. Some people describe them as the alligator mouths. If you've heard that, great. If not, that's fine. So that's our vocabulary. An inequality is just your greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. And then your solution set is just all the values that make this true. So here would be any number bigger than 4 would be in my solution set. All right, let's compare these 2 equations. You're used to a lot of equations. An equation shows that 2 expressions are equal to each other. Okay, so for example, 4 equals 4, or with a variable, x equals 4. Okay, where an inequality shows that 2 expressions are not equal, or I'm going to say not strictly equal. Strictly equal. Okay, now the reason I'm saying not strictly equal is because sometimes we have this or equal to sign, greater than or equal to. So that's why I'm using the word not strictly equal to each other. So for example, we could have x is less than 4. We could have x is greater than 5. We could x is less than or equal to 5. X is greater than or equal to -6. Those are just some examples of some inequalities. So yeah, an equation is like x equals 5. It has one solution. An inequality like x is greater than 5 has infinite number of solutions. And then that's this group. Let me move myself. This group is called the solution set. All right. So let's fill out this little table together. So we're just kind of comparing them. So the equation only uses an equal sign. Inequalities uses the greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, or less than equal to sign. Number of solutions. An equation typically only has one solution. Wow, that's my one. Anyway, and then the number of solutions, it's typically many solutions when we're talking about an inequality, because it's any number bigger or smaller than a certain number. So here's an example. X plus 3 equals 7 is an equation. X plus 3 is greater than 7. That's an inequality. What does x equal? So in this case, x would be equal 4. But in this case, I would say x is, I should say, greater than 4. So here there's the only one solution, which is 4. And this one would be anything bigger than 4 would be my solution. And then when we graph these, graphing a number on the number line is just a single point. And this would be like a shaded region of values. That's an R. Sorry, my handwriting's great. All right. Let's look at this next one. You should have these on your guided notes in front of you. So let's fill out what we have blank. This symbol means less than. Less than would be an open circle on your graph, and we have an entire assignment just on graphing. And our arrow direction would be going to the left, and that means values that are smaller than the number. Okay, this side means greater than. and it would have an open circle when we graphed it, and it would be going to the right. And it has values larger than the number. Okay, this is less than or equal to. This is a closed bracket. Whenever you have that word or equal to, not bracket, circle. Whenever you have that or equal to part of it, and you graph it, you're going to have a solid circle. And then this last one, this is greater than or equal to. That is also closed when you would graph it, and it is going to the right, and its values larger than or equal to the number. And the less than or equal to, the values are smaller than or equal to the number. So there is our table filled out. So basically, something you can do to help yourself remember when is it open or is it closed when it comes to graphing. An open circle means the number is not included in the solution set, and it's strict inequalities. So it's either this or this. Okay. So for example, if I had x is greater than, let's say 17, the solution, x would be, in that solution set, would have to be the numbers like 17.1, 17.2, anything bigger than 17, but doesn't actually include 17. For the closed circle, it means the number is included. So for example, if we had x is less than or equal to 3, so any number less than 3, so a 2, a 1, a 0, is included in that solution set, but 3 is also included in the set because we have this or equal to part of my sign. So open circle means it's not included in the solution. Closed circle means it is included in my solution set. Okay, so let's kind of do some practice with translating key phrases. So when reading word problems, certain phrases signal specific inequality symbols. Write the correct symbol next to each phrase. So if you ever see a phrase that says is greater than or is more than, that would be that symbol right there. If you ever see is less than or is fewer than, that would be our sign like that. At least, no less than, or a minimum. So for example, let's say I ate at least 3 donuts. That means that's the least amount, the minimum amount. So I ate 3 or more than that. So I would say greater than or equal to. Okay, at most or no more than, or the maximum. So let's say I ate at most 4 donuts. That means I ate 4 or less than that. So I would have less than or equal to on that one. So those are a couple key phrases that will help you figure out how to translate when you're going from English into the inequality statement. So let's just practice a couple translating problems. A number y is at most negative 12. So at most, meaning it can't be any bigger than that. So we're going to say y has to be less than or equal to negative 12. So a number y is at most. It can be negative 12, but it can't be anything bigger than that. So it's y is less than or equal to negative 12. Okay, to ride the roller coaster, your height h must be at least 48 inches. At least means 48 inches or more. So you would say x, you have to be greater than or equal to that 48 inches. Because you have to be at least that height. That's the minimum. You must spend less than $25 at the store. Okay, so you have to spend less than $25. It doesn't say less than or a minimum or a maximum. So it just says less than. So we're going to say x is less than $25. So that would be like if you had like $24.99. You can't spend $25 because you don't have it, but you could spend anything under $25. All right. So hopefully this is a good start to be able to understand these or say these goals. I understand what an inequality is. I understand the symbols of inequalities, and I can translate key phrases into inequalities. As always, reach out if you have any questions.